The telephone, once a harmless way to reach out to friends and family, now for many an addiction. With the invention of the smartphone, everything from social networking and weather forecasts to games and breaking news is available at the touch of a finger. Nearly 3/4 of people say their phone is rarely more than 5 feet away from them.
My phone.
And even more said they could never go a day without it. Responsible for untold numbers of accidents, slips, and spills, phones have now earned a coveted spot at the bedside table, or even under the pillow of more than 50% of North Americans, seriously disrupting their sleep. Being constantly connected, however, is not making people more connected.
Cheryl, are you listening to me?
1 in 10 say it's interfering in their relationships. Large numbers of people are reporting they check their phones in theaters, during dinner dates, in church, in the shower, and most shockingly, here. What can be done about this out-of-control addiction? Self-proclaimed smartphone addict Cheryl Weber will try and find out.
Cheryl, you're on.
Oh, sorry. Okay, so Dr. Mary is well known to us as a very wise psychologist and author, and she is going to help us solve our smartphone addiction problems. Dr. Mary, I don't really have a problem, do I?
No.
Your voice is saying no, but your head is saying yes.
Cheryl.
I was just, we were trying to, prove a point, an exaggeration, really.
Well, I've known you for a while, and that phone tends to be kind of pretty much attached to your hand.
It's a little close.
It is.
It's a little close.
Yes.
So I may have, we'll call it inappropriate use of my smartphone, but how do we know? How do we know if we're addicted or maybe we're just a little too attached? What is the difference?
Right. So there's one thing about enjoying it, but when you're actually finding that it's interfering with your life, and when you're finding that you actually almost feel empty without it, or you feel like there's something missing if you're not busily on your phone, then you start to ask, oh, shoot, is there something going on? So in all seriousness, there are people who can get addicted to their cell phones because it's meeting a need in them, it's soothing something in them. It could be just the fact that I can't be disconnected from people. I have to be in constant connection, otherwise I feel lonely, or I feel like people don't know me, or whatever it might be. Or it could be that I'm having a stressful day, I'm feeling really angry. It just helps me to decompress, to be on my phone. Could be lots of reasons like that.
Yeah, I actually find it peaceful. Like if I have stress going on, like just to spend 10 minutes just on my phone, checking the weather, just answering emails, getting stuff done. I don't know, just seeing what's going on in the world, even reading the news. Like I find it peaceful.
And 10 minutes is great, but if you say, I'm gonna do 10 minutes, and then 2 hours later you look up and you realize you've been on the phone the whole time, then that could be a problem.
Yeah, so being soothed by it is normal, but when you take it too far is when you should start being worried.
Right, and when it becomes that's your way of connecting with people, it's always through your phone and it's not actually interpersonal interactions, when you find yourself avoiding situations because you'd just rather be on your phone, when you're like trying to rush through a conversation just so I can hurry up and get back on my phone. Exactly. It is true. I mean, everything in our life potentially could become addictive if we're using it to either avoid dealing with real life and our issues, if we're using it to soothe ourselves when we're feeling really distressed. And some level of soothing is okay, but really we are created to be soothed and comforted by God and by our close relationships and sharing and connecting. I mean, we are connective people. We are relational people. And the cell phone gives you an illusion of connection because you're texting someone, but it's not true connection in the intimate way that God created us to connect.
Yeah, and I can see it can be dangerous too, even with Facebook, social media, if I could take a little bunny trail there, but you're on there and you're looking at everybody's fabulous life. And of course, we only post the good things.
Of course.
We could be going through like the worst, year of our lives, but we went out at some event or whatever, and everybody just looks at Facebook and they think, oh, everyone's having a fabulous life but me.
Exactly, and it reinforces that whole, it's about appearances. and it's about wearing masks, and it's not about being real and honest. And when you are not actually seeing people face to face, like I can see your reactions, I can respond to you, but through the Facebook or internet, I can't really see what's going on in your life unless you choose to open up to me.
Yeah, and I have to, okay, so true confession time, because,
All right.
you know, for whatever reason, every time you're on, you're taking me apart, but it's all
my job.
It's all to help you. So I hope you guys really appreciate this, because we just want to help you. So, you know, I had a few friends say to me, and I get easily distracted. You know, one of the things about being in television is you're kind of ADD, and it works with this world because it's changing all the time. So I've had a few friends say to me, you know, like when you're on your phone when we're together, you know, even if it's just parts of the night, I often feel like I'm not important. Like you're saying to me that I don't matter.
Right.
Is that how that makes people feel? Is that really true?
It's very common. And for you, it's just a distraction. You hear a little noise or a little buzz, and you can't help but, you know, kind of look. And the thing is, people kind of feel like they can multitask, but really we can't. In fact, when we try to multitask, so we're doing our phone and we're working or we're having a conversation, everyone's getting short shrift on that. We're not able to do that properly. And so in a relationship, if you're constantly looking at your cell phone, which I've noticed you've been doing this throughout this interview, then I'm feeling like you're not necessarily paying attention to me, that I'm not important to you, that somehow something going on there is more valuable. So for sure, if you're in a conversation and you're having dinner, just make the habit of just turning off your phone and turn off that vibe thing so that it's not vibrating and distracting you even though there's no sound. Because people are going to feel like they're not going to be as important to you when you're constantly distracted that way.
I have to be honest that I have been doing better at that because they took the time to be honest to say, this is how it's making me feel. And I was like, that's not how I want you to feel at all. Sometimes it's just because I feel very busy and frazzled. And it's like, I need to, you know, be on top of my work emails or what's going on. And so I have been doing better at that, like making a practice of like just putting it away.
Yeah.
You know?
And you mentioned a very important issue too of being able to put it away, because that's also healthy boundaries. Right? You know, the challenge with the cell phone is it has really made our life much more efficient because we can do a lot of work on there. And I have to confess, I do that a lot.
So it's not just me. Any other confessions? Come on.
Stop it already. But the challenge is, because there's poorer boundaries, then it means that work constantly kind of comes into our personal life.
It's true.
And so if, like a friend of mine just recently made the decision, she's actually, once she's done work at 5 or 6, she turns off her work email. Right off her cell phone.
I have a friend who does that too.
Yeah,
I can't even imagine.
I know.
I know.
But it kind of forces you to have those boundaries so that when you're in your personal life, you can. So you don't have that frenetic feeling all the time that you then need the phone to soothe you from.
Yeah, because when I'm in a crazy busy time at work, I can wake up in the middle of the night, like with my heart pounding, thinking, like checking my phone, thinking that I need to see, like, is something going on? I'm, you know, this feeling of just constantly being in demand.
Right. So it sounds to me like your cell phone addiction is actually more a symptom of the fact that you have a very busy life. You're kind of stressed out. You've got too many things that you're trying to juggle. So, you know, one of the things to do is to start to look at your life very seriously in terms of priorities and what is it that you really want to focus your energies on. And then out of that, what boundaries do I need to set, including with my cell phone, so that I can live that more healthy, balanced life, so that you don't actually need the cell phone. The other interesting thing about addiction they have found is that one of the key sources of success in treating addiction is through connections and relationships. So isn't that interesting? Yeah. So the very thing that you are maybe avoiding through the cell phone, if you can put it aside and actually connect in relationship, can be the thing that can break the addiction.
That's
cool?
awesome.
Yeah.
I love that. So let's just give people some things that they can do, you know, if they find out, like I've found that putting the phone away, my friends appreciate that, and I really do care about them and love them, and I don't want to give them that message. So, you know, I'll just, sometimes there's one time in the whole evening that we'll both check our phones at the same time and then put them away.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So what can people do to kind of break that if they go, you know what, maybe I am kind of being rude, or maybe I really am addicted? What can people do to change that?
Well, I think what you say is important, setting the boundaries. So having sort of clear, well, this is when I'm going to turn my phone on and this is when I'm going to turn it off. And even to say I'm going to turn it off at the end of the work day. And people don't need to be able to reach me, and that's okay. Or giving yourself a very concrete time from this time to that time, and even setting an alarm that I will check the phone, I will go on Facebook, and then after that time is over, it's over. But if you are recognizing through this conversation we're having that you actually really have something more serious going on, that maybe you're running away or hiding from some depression or anxiety or some really deep rooted issues that you just are not facing, and you're kind of using the phone to distract yourself or to soothe yourself, then I would really encourage getting professional help and really kind of seeing what's going on.
Right.
Because it is something that is so worthy of being free from.
And if people are kind of avoiding and using the phone for those things, chances are, even if they put rules around their phone, it's going to go somewhere else, right? Because really, it's
and
not
that's a
about
good sign. If I've put boundaries and I can't follow them because I'm not actually in control of my behavior, that's a good sign of addiction, right? It's taken over me.
Or if in some other way it's excessive television, it's excessive Netflix-a-thons.
Yes.
Or, you know, whatever it is, right? It's like you need to realize that I'm avoiding life for a reason. I think those are great advice. And, you know, I'm really not as bad as I'm making myself out to be, but I definitely can improve, probably in every area of my life. So thank you so much for your advice.
Yeah, no problem.
I really appreciate it. So if you're watching and you think you're addicted, or you have other areas in your life where you need help, I just want to encourage you to call the number on the bottom of your screen. We have people that just want to pray for you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and listen. I just think that's so awesome. People are so busy today, they don't have time to listen. There's somebody there who just wants to listen to you, pray for you, cheer you on in life. If you want to take advantage of that, go ahead.